You're listening to Emerson Whitner's NXT Report on the Angry Marks Podcast Network.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. My name is Emerson Whitner, and this is your NXT audio update for Wednesday, August 5, 2015. NXT was last night, and the big news coming out of it is that Tyler Breeze's opponent has been officially named for TakeOver, plus Kevin Owens issues a challenge for a certain stipulation for his match with Finn Balor at TakeOver. But before we get into that, let's dive into the show. The show did open with a Roddy Piper graphic. He passed away last week, as we all know, and it's just really horrible. My Wrestling Outsiders podcast, we did do a tribute show to him last Saturday night, so if you want to go check it out, it's at blogtalkradio.com/wrestlingoutsiders. Check out that and all of our other episodes. Please and thank you. The first actual match was Bayley versus Charlotte. When Bayley walked to the ring, she tried to give her slap bracelet to a child at ringside, but literally no one in that section was even looking in her direction. And when they finally did notice her, the kid took his sweet time getting out of his chair and walking over to get it. This is a rematch from NXT TakeOver Fatal 4-Way last September when Charlotte won and eventually led to her babyface turn. And these two were actually teammates in 2013 until Charlotte turned heel and joined the BFFs with Summer Rae and Sasha. Bayley asked for this match to show that she was ready to challenge Sasha for the title. Charlotte spent most of the match working over Bayley's knee, so Bayley limped through her comeback. The highlight was Bayley hitting a Frankensteiner off the middle rope. The fans chanted "Woman's Wrestling" at one point, which was a nice thing to hear. Not Divas Wrestling, not Divas Sports Entertainment, Woman's Wrestling. Bayley got to the ropes when Charlotte put on the figure four. Charlotte kicked out of a Bayley-to-belly suplex, but Bayley eventually won with a Bayley-to-belly suplex off of the top rope. Earlier this week, Michael Cole spoke with Kevin Owens about the match at TakeOver. Owens stated that he did apologize to Mr. Regal for punching him after the contract signing, and he said that Regal was a real man's man for waiting until Owens had his back turned to say that he hoped Kevin loses in Brooklyn. Owens wants the NXT title because it reminds him of injuring Sami Zayn, and being champion means more money in his bank account. Kevin said that since Mr. Regal's in a position of authority, and that he just said that he didn't want Owens to win the belt, the only possible way to have a match and for Mr. Regal to not screw him over and to not have another Montreal screwjob was to make the match a ladder match. Cole asked him if he could beat Finn Balor, which caused Owens to finally stand up and walk away. We got our first of two Bull Fit videos with Bull Dempsey. The first one, Bull watched his video from last week, and the absurdity of it caused him to be serious now. And of course, his seriousness backfired when he went to the bench press and the weight came crashing down on him. To be continued. The Linear Paragon Pro Wrestling Champion's back, Baron Corbin. He pinned Steve Cutler in 22 seconds. The entire match was Cutler punched Baron, Baron punched Cutler, Baron hit the end of days, pinned him, while the fans chanted that Baron sucks. Bayley went to see Mr. Regal and asked him for a title match against Sasha. William responded by putting her in a match with Becky Lynch next week, and the winner will get a shot at the title on August 22nd in Brooklyn at NXT TakeOver. Tyler Breeze pinned Eric Solar. It's now been one full year since Breeze got his one-on-one NXT title shot that ended in a disqualification when Tyson Kidd ran in and attacked champion Adrian Neville. I'd like to point out that since that time, Breeze never got his rightful one-on-one rematch for the title. The announcer spent the match arguing about the stores that Breeze could visit in Brooklyn, and Tyler picked up another win with the beauty shot. And so that brought out Mr. William Regal, and he announced that on August 22nd at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn, Tyler Breeze will go one-on-one with the one and only Jushin Thunder Liger. In news that we already knew for about 3 or 4 weeks now, but hey, whatever. So we then got a really nice Liger video package, basically for everyone who had no idea who he was. I did think it was funny that they did air footage from the WCW New Japan Super shows, even though they don't have them up on the network. Yuha Nation was back, featuring another video package. If you remember, they aired videos of him about 4 months ago, and then all of a sudden stopped, so now they started up again. His new name is Apollo Crews, Crews, and he debuts at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn. Finn Balor did his own sit-down interview with Byron Saxton, and basically talked about how he's honored to be NXT champion, and is ready for the rematch with Owens. He didn't officially accept the challenge to a ladder match, but the way he talked, it's basically a foregone conclusion. That's what's going to happen. The Hype Bros defeated Dash and Dawson. The Hype Bros, if you recall, are, what's his name? Zack Ryder and, oh my god, I can't think of his freaking name now. Mojo Rawley. Wow. Blonde moment there. And it's funny because I've got it written down right here. The Hype Bros now have a merged theme song where they put Mojo's Hype song along with Ryder's radio theme. Dash and Dawson did just beat Enzo and Cass last week, so of course they lost here. The heels got the heat on Zack Ryder. Zack did the 10 punches of doom to Dawson, but Dash distracted him, and Dawson tripped him up. The announcers were busy talking about Wayne's World while Zack made the hot tag. Mojo tagged in, beat both men by himself, but tagged Zack in for the finish, where Mojo lifted Dash up for a spine buster, and Zack came off the middle rope with a Rough Rider for the win. After the match, the heels laid out the baby faces, and they dropped Ryder with the Shatter Machine, which, if you recall last week, is the move where one of them throws Ryder up in the air, and as Ryder comes down, the other one gives him the Codebreaker. William Regal awarded the Vaudevillains a tag team title shot at TakeOver, and told them to think of a way to curtail the interference of Alexa Bliss. So yes, there's going to be a diva put with them soon. Don't know who it is yet, but I guess we'll find out in Brooklyn. We got a continuation from the earlier Bull Fit segment. Turns out Bull did not dive when the weights crashed down on him. Instead, he pushed it all the way up to the bar, and then this broke down into every training montage you've ever seen from every sports movie, where slowly Bull got a little better and a little better, and finally it ended with him turning over a giant truck tire and standing on top of it victoriously. And then in the main event, Samoa Joe faced Rhyno. In the tail of the tape, they noted that Joe had won 20 championships, which, after checking, that does include the 9 different titles he won in TNA. However, it also said that Rhyno only won 16 championships, while according to Wikipedia, he's actually won 22. So not sure what doesn't count in there. This was a very fun, hard-hitting match. These two have wrestled a bunch before in TNA, so they know each other well. Rhyno at one point gave him a TKO, but the announcers called it a Samoan drop for a 2 count. Joe got a near fall with a flying kick to the face. Rhyno got out of the choke and went for the gore, but Joe kicked him in the face, and then the finish saw Joe win with the Muscle Buster. So that's it for this week. Another good episode of NXT. Nothing, like usual, nothing to write home about, but it's still a solid show. Built up to TakeOver in 2 weeks. But what's going to happen next week? Well, we know Bayley's going to wrestle Becky Lynch. So until then, thank you for listening, and have a pleasant week.
You're listening to Emerson Whitner's NXT Report on the Angry Marks Podcast Network.